When's the last time you threw up in public?
Threw up in public.
Yes.
Ooh.
Good question, huh?
It's a real good one. In public.
In public.
Oh man.
I'll tell you mine.
Because I got. Oh geez, I know where you're going. I was wondering where you were. I wasn't even thinking about the last time I threw up in public. I was just thinking about where you were going with this, and now I got it. But tell me yours.
The last time that I threw up in public, I was celebrating New Year's Eve
Ooh.
with 3 of my good friends, all girls, and
Hell yeah.
threw up in front of them, and they were making fun of me the whole time that I could not handle my liquor. I think I was 20. I was 21, and it was New Year's Eve.
Oh.
Yeah.
So were any of these 3 girls of interest to you? Did they?
No, they were just 3 of my good friends. We were all hanging out.
Okay.
Yeah. But I definitely done that. I was hanging out with a girl. It was a weird situation. We were together, not together. It was a college thing. But in Halloween, and we had a Halloween party, and I was like kind of spilling my guts to her, trying to convince her to leave her boyfriend. And in the process, got really drunk and threw up all over the place. Only time in my life I've ever blacked out and woke up on some dude's couch that I did not know at all. It was the dude's party. Woke up on the couch being like, where the fuck am I?
Wow.
And caused a total scene to the point where people around campus at Texas were coming up to be like, you okay, dude? Because Saturday night, you were kind of crazy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So that's the last time I threw up in public.
Dude, I can't say that
I can't say which time happened first, and maybe the Halloween. No, Halloween was before the New Year's Eve party. So the New Year's Eve party happened more recently. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, it sounds like you did it in front of quite a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it was quite the spectacle, my friend.
Last time I threw up in front of people was probably one time when we went to Schroeder's, and then we went to Curly's friend's bar afterwards. And I didn't like barf in front of a group, but it was in front of like a pair smoking a cigarette who were just like, whoa, dude, you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm calling an Uber. See ya.
Okay, now that I think about it, I take it back. I remember being on Bart, and you've thrown up on Bart too, from what I remember.
Yeah, I try not to talk about that, Derek.
It was when we were having a Christmas party, right?
In my defense, there was no one on that train.
Well, I've thrown up on Bart with somebody on the train, and let's just say that person got upset with me. I'm not gonna tell the whole story with that one. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, we're coming to you on a Wednesday. The reason I asked Stephen that question is because everything's fine now, but on Monday night, the Knicks and Heat were playing a game, and Tracy Morgan goes to a lot of Knicks games, and he threw up all over the court. Not all over the court, just where he was sitting.
Yeah.
And had a bloody nose. And I don't know what the whole backstory is when it comes to his health. I know he got into a really bad car accident, but I don't think it has anything to do with some of the health complications he's had through the years. But people were kind of concerned, like, oh, what the hell's going on with Tracy Morgan? Come to find out, it's just food poisoning. So just had a bad night. Had a case of the bubble guts.
Yeah, but I understand why people would be concerned for him. I was, of course, pissed off with social media at that time, just lacking all the empathy. Well, he drank too much. It's like, no, dude, like, I don't know. If you drink too much, like, you're not going to get to the point where you're doing it courtside and you're in public, and someone would have noticed if Tracy Morgan was acting that way. And I think something would have come out. He's had very well documented health issues. And in my opinion, Tracy Morgan is close to national treasure type of territory as far as figures go, celebrities. So I was a little nervous for him. That's a scary scene. The action shot just shared everywhere. I couldn't go on my phone without seeing Tracy Morgan barfing on the Madison Square Garden court.
Well, I mean, yeah, when you're courtside for a New York Knicks game and you're a well-known person, that's going to be an unfortunate situation to blow chunks.
Hmm.
And yeah, it wasn't just any type of hurl; it was a projectile vomit situation.
Correct.
And yeah, to get wheeled away in a wheelchair, that's when you're a little concerned. I will say. Also, Tracy Morgan is a comedian, so he could take some jabs. Like today, I was talking about the Warriors having a terrible performance against the Nuggets, and I was like, God, Steve Kerr was so pissed. I mean, he looked upset on the court. He might have thrown up like Tracy Morgan on the Knicks game, and Coach was like, oh, and I was like, come on, he's fine now. It's all in good fun. I mean, I was joking around today, just being like trying to do my Tracy Morgan impression, which I'm not very good at, but like, I ate lasagna, which is something he would say, kind of like a Garfield thing.
That was your Tracy Morgan.
I could do a better Tracy Morgan. I'm trying to like do Eddie Murphy doing Tracy Morgan, and it's better I just don't do Tracy Morgan altogether.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
I ate the 3-cheese lasagna. The 4 cheese wasn't in my system. That's why I barfed.
My James Earl Jones is my father. Impregnated my mother a long time ago. Yeah. Not really good with the
hard one. It's a hard
the
one.
Tracy Morgan impression.
We'll leave that up to a comedy legend like Eddie Murphy and not to the Just Your Opinion Man podcast. How about that?
There you go. And it's good to see Rock a New Era. Where the hell is everybody else? Let me guess. Walter's podcast going too long? Yeah.
Probably. Although Ernie too is, I think, a fixture within the what is it? Pastime for the pool time? Pastime for the
Passion for the pastime. Which will be joining Walter for a little joint podcast, dual stream action.
Hell yeah.
Next Tuesday.
Where me and Walter are going to be talking Giants baseball, and you're just going to be like, hell yeah.
Basically. I mean, that's what's happened a week from today when we do this KMBR roundtable for the Giants, and I'm like, all right, Murph. Yep. Keep talking.
Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Just start throwing out random Giants and names from back in the day just to kind of loosen things up a little bit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's not supposed to be about the old times. We're talking about this team right now.
Yeah, but
and
you can talk about this team right now. But I'm just saying, like, to boost whatever Giants worth you have, I think just like randomly start calling them out. Pedro Feliz, what a guy.
Yeah, you know what? Nah, because I've been trying to, like, the whole focus this year has just been, let's get better, and I'm talking about me, like, get better talking baseball. And I'm reading all the notes. I'm watching the spring training games. I think I'm well-versed talking about this Giants team coming up this season. But if I'm going to go like back in the past, I'm not going to be a phony. I never was a Giants fan. I'm not going to be one now. I'm not going to act like I watch the World Series teams. I'm focused on this team. So if we're, if going to be real here, if we're going to have a dick measuring contest when it comes to who knows more Giants, by all means, KMBR people, you know more than me. But I'm not going to be a fanboy this year. So there you go.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it, Derek.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk more Giants on this damn podcast.
No, we'll bring it up. We'll talk Giants. We'll talk baseball in general. Did you watch any of these 3:30 games the last 2 days?
No, to be honest, I haven't.
Okay, good. Because I was going to call you out if you're making fun of me for waking up at 6 a.m. to watch, NFL London games, and you're up at 3:30 watching Cubs Dodgers.
Well, I work at that time, so I have an excuse.
Okay, fair enough.
Even so, I didn't have it on.
Yeah. Well, did you see Max Muncy was trying to catch a foul ball, and then Rodney Peete, known Dodger fan, took the foul ball away from him?
Well, here's the thing about that, though. Did he take that ball away from him, or did Muncy just absolutely drop it, and it just so happened to get into Pete's glove? Because I saw that ball go right by Muncy's. Like, had Pete's glove not been there, that thing would have bounced right in between the row and gone 20 feet into the sky. Like, I don't think that was I saw Steve Bartman was brought up with that. I'm like, nah, this is not a Steve Bartman situation.
It's also the second game of the season compared to the NLCS.
Sure. I mean, look, maybe the Dodgers are cursed. Derek. Maybe that's it. Dodgers are
Yeah,
cursed.
that's it. They're cursed.
Yeah, well, yeah. 2 games in Tokyo, they are cursed, even though they
Yeah.
won.
They're 2-0, and they just won the World Series, and they got every free agent imaginable. But yeah, they're cursed.
Dude, they are. See, the thing is, it's like it's like Duke in this upcoming NCAA tournament. You want to hate them, right? And as a Giants fan, I do, in general, hate the Dodgers, but they have a lot of very good players on this team, a lot of likable players on this team. But Max Muncy is not one of them. So I will laugh at that until the end of time. Even if he did, I wish Pete stole it out of his glove, quite frankly.
Yeah, it was just funny that it's, of all people, Rodney Pete. And I think of him as like the guy that filled in for Rich Gannon when he got a concussion for like a couple of plays. That's the only thing I remember Rodney Pete from. I know he's well known and went to USC and everything, but he's just wearing a Dodgers, hoodie, takes the ball away from Max Muncy and kind of just like smiles at him like, "Huh, I got this, bro." It's like, you're a fan. Like, what's the protocol when it comes to fans stealing away easy outs for outfielders?
Well, they shouldn't, but I'm just saying that wasn't a situation where he stole it. Max Muncy dropped the ball and it dropped into Pete's glove.
Yeah. Well, maybe Pete should back off a little bit. Maybe get the out. Are you a fan or not?
What? So just stay in your seat, Rodney, dude. I don't know. Have you ever has a foul ball ever come to you in that way? Like
No.
you want to get to it, man. Like and nothing will stand. And Rodney Pete's an athlete, you know. You could take the athlete out of Rodney Pete, but you can't take the Rodney Pete out of the athlete. Or is that you could take the Rodney Pete out of athletics, but you can't take the athlete out of Rodney Pete?
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. That makes more sense.
There you go. It was beautiful.
Look, that was just his inclination. That was his instinct. All right, I'm going to get this ball, man.
Yeah. I mean,
I wish he stole it out of his glove.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but if you're asking me, like, did I ever catch a foul ball? No. I never was like the type of kid to bring like a glove to the yard. I just wanted to show up and watch a baseball game. My brother, Nick, I think I've told this story before on the podcast, deathly afraid of a baseball coming in his direction at a game.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. But I actually think something to take away from the Cubs and Dodgers, and this is what you're going to take away every time you watch a game in Japan, in the Tokyo Dome. But God, if baseball was more like that in America, I mean, you got older gentlemen, much older gentlemen, bringing their gloves to the game. You got beer kegs on the back of, I believe. I mean, get with the times. I believe it's only women doing that, but get men on that too. Go around with kegs, fill the beer, get some chants going. Stay locked in. Make it like a concert, man. Baseball, the reason I think it's such a boring product on the field is in part because, or at least a boring television product, in part is because it's not that fun to watch the fans. Like in football, at least you have all the crazy guys that dress up in the face paint, and these are grown-ass men probably working like accountant jobs the next day or something. At least you got that where you can go and look at them. With March Madness, you always got the people going insane. I don't know. Baseball doesn't really have that. And Kruk and Kuip have kind of gone away from the what they used to do. I mean, I don't know what they used to call it, but when they used to scratch people out. What's that?
Telestrator. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like they would like well, I think that went away when they were making fun of the what was it? The therapy bunny. They're ripping on the person that brought the bunny to the yard, and I'm sure like people are like don't do that.
They
took
the telestrator away way before that.
Yeah. By the way, I just saw, I guess today, SF Gate wrote about it. Alex Simon. They all have contract extensions. So you're going to see Kruk and Kuip and Dave Fleming and John Miller do Giants baseball for the foreseeable future, which is always good. Those guys do a fantastic broadcast.
Have them do it for as long as possible, man. Giants baseball is not going to be the same without them.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, to keep doing it as long as they want to do it. Okay, so Mike Silver joined us on the last podcast, and that was awesome. And I got to do 4 hours of radio with Mike Silver the next day as well. And that was awesome too. Mike's just down to earth and super chill, and we had a great time. He brought on Jeff Darlington. I think Jeff Darlington was very uncomfortable after about 20 minutes that he was on, where Mike kept asking him about the shirt. Remember, he brought up the shirt that his wife, Jeff Darlington, owns. And as soon as he said, "Yeah, Jeff, your wife owns a shirt of me," and he goes, "No, Mike, no." And he goes, "Well, I haven't even finished the question yet." He's like, "No, me and my wife have never gotten intimate with her wearing the shirt, so please don't ask." I was like, "Oh, I just wanted to know." Yeah, no, Mike was having a good time. But so he talked to us about Aaron Rodgers and everything
Oh
going on with the Vikings,
God.
their interest or their lack of interest with Aaron Rodgers. And, we got good run from that on Sunday. But today, Diana Rossini and Tom Pelissero had the same report that basically the Vikings are. I love the way that Diana Rossini's phrasing it. Like they're not in or out. They just don't have a decision right now. So they're going forward with JJ McCarthy. And yeah, that's what I would have guessed. I didn't think that they were ever really that interested in him. Otherwise, they would have signed him a long time ago. Maybe they're waiting to see how JJ McCarthy is in OTAs and mini camps and all that shit. But for right now, like it makes sense the way that they constructed this team. It just makes sense that they go forward with JJ McCarthy because you got to pay Aaron Rodgers. You didn't want to pay Sam Darnold. It would be relatively the same amount of money. So yeah, they go forward with a rookie contract and they're able to pay more guys. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they're going forward with JJ McCarthy. Now, does this mean that Aaron Rodgers will finally, shit or get off the pod or whatever the fuck like terminology you want to use? I have no idea. All I know is I am fucking tired of the story. And it's not even like I'm that into it, believe me. It's not like I'm thinking that Aaron Rodgers is going to make a Super Bowl contender out of the Pittsburgh Steelers or New York Giants. I don't feel that way. It's just that he's the last domino, the big thing that we have this offseason. And that's what sucks is that, free agency is fun the first couple of days, and then it just went to a screeching halt because Aaron Rodgers isn't signing anywhere. So now you're holding up the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're holding up the Giants, you're holding up Russell Wilson, you're holding up Kirk Cousins. That's the part that I'm annoyed with because there could be other moves that I'm interested in. The truth is, like, it's kind of dead right now. Like, we're waiting on like Amari Cooper and Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen, but I don't know if that's happening anytime soon. The last big thing is Aaron Rodgers, and I will admit this. I think everybody kind of admits this. When you see an alert and a big-time player's on the move, you kind of go like, whoa, that's kind of big. But we're not getting that right now. So we're all just impatient. This is the first time Aaron Rodgers has been in through free agency, so he's going to take his sweet-ass time. But, yeah, this is not like DeAndre Hopkins or Dalvin Cook to me. I'm just over it. I just want it to be fucking done.
Is Aaron Rodgers even good enough to get this kind of attention anymore? Like,
No.
really? Like,
No.
I understood it once he left the Packers. Like, this is Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, he could change the trajectory of a team. But once he got hurt, once his Achilles popped after that game where he snapped it or whatever he did on the fourth snap of the game, not snapped, but he has not looked the same. He did not look the same last year. That's why I thought that the Chargers getting Devontae Adams was a huge move. I think Devontae's still got a lot left in the tank, and he just wasn't reaching his full potential with a quarterback who just can't move the way that he did anymore. I'm so tired of this, and my least favorite part is that while we're all focusing on this news and it's kind of hijacking our Twitter timelines with anything real from sports, when it's hijacking anything NFL related, he's on a beach in Malibu in a blanket, enjoying the sunset, as we all should be. I think we need to take notes from Rodgers and stop paying attention to the NFL. You know, in fact, I don't even blame Rodgers. I don't blame Rodgers for this. I blame the NFL media cycle because it's just ridiculous how much focus we put on this free agency stuff because at the end of the day, it will not matter. What are you going to go to the Steelers? Oh, man, how's he going to handle Mike Tomlin? Are they going to go over 500 again? Are they going to get back in the playoffs? And he goes to the New York Giants. What's he going to do with Malik Neighbors? I'm not interested in it. I'm not. The Steelers don't interest me. The Giants don't interest me. And they don't interest me anymore if they have Aaron Rodgers or not.
I will say that if he does sign with the Steelers, I would be a tad bit interested. Just be like, okay, well, it's different, Aaron Rodgers, I thought that maybe that's an upgrade over Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But do I think they're winning the Super Bowl? No. I mean, they'll with the AFC, I think that's why Rodgers wants to go to the NFC and the Minnesota Vikings. But I don't think they're beating Mahomes. I don't think they're beating Josh Allen. I don't think they're beating take anybody else in the AFC right now that has a good quarterback situation. Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Joe Burrow and the Bengals? No, I just
Yep.
don't see that right now. So
They are the new Dallas Cowboys to me, Derek. Where
the
we
Steelers,
yes, in different
they've actually won recently, Steven.
different ways here, right? But
When I say recently, 15 years.
yeah, well, I'm talking about like in the past few, where
Okay.
it's like we talk about the Cowboys as some powerhouse in the NFC. Oh, this offense is as good as any offense in the league. We do the same thing with the Steelers. We always say, man, this is the best defense in the league, no doubt. And they don't have a quarterback, and then they just end up laying an egg in the divisional round because they do not have a quarterback. So that's probably going to happen again, even with Aaron Rodgers. I'm sick and tired of it, Derek. Groundhog Day.
No, I'm with you, man, and you're not alone because a guy that plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cam Hayward, was brutally honest on his podcast, and that's just his co-host asking him a question, and he was just like, I'm not doing a darkness retreat or any of that crap. If you want to be here, you want to be here. End of story. And more power to him because that's how I feel. And like that's the one thing. Like if all the NFL people were bringing this up and this wasn't holding anything else up, I would be like, what are you doing? Like every day, just yes, it's getting annoying. It's nauseating.
Yep.
It is the only story in the NFL that has not been solved yet. So that's why we're all waiting for this goddamn thing to end.
Yeah.
But it also at the same time is holding up Russell Wilson. I'm sure Russell Wilson went to go, visit with the Cleveland Browns and New York Giants, and he's like, I'm ready to sign right now. And both teams are like, that's great. We're kind of waiting on Aaron Rodgers. So as soon as we find that out, we will call you. Don't you worry. And he's like, well, fucking A. Like I'm ready to go on with my life, and this guy's holding me up. Same thing with Kirk Cousins. Yeah. I'm sure Kirk is like, the whole situation with the Falcons is ridiculous to me, but they're holding him hostage. They're willing to pay his salary, even though it's ridiculous, for a backup QB. And he's like, can me and Coop just go to a new team where I have a chance to be a starter? And I'm sure if things don't pan out with the New York Giants, I'm sure that if they don't land Russell Wilson, they'll want to trade for Kirk Cousins because it does sound like Cam Ward's going number 1 overall to Tennessee and Shador might go to Cleveland. We'll see about that. Mm-hmm. But if there's no other options there, then they do need to get a veteran quarterback. So if you're the Giants, you're desperate, but you want to make sure that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to come to you, so you're not going to make that move yet.
Well, if Rodgers opts for retirement, right, doesn't choose the Steelers or the Giants,
that's on the table too.
The only thing that would interest me, those two teams, is if Jameis Winston goes there. Is if Jameis Winston lands with them.
Okay, would that interest you for his play or the sound bites? I already know the answer.
No, there's both. Both for his erratic style, volatile, right?
Yeah.
He's just going to go out there slinging it with a reckless abandon. He doesn't even care. He's throwing interception. I can't wait for that. We love him the first few weeks of the season. Those 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions maybe. And then he comes in with the beauty. 1 TD, 5 INTs. And then he starts getting all crazy with his press conferences. He is the best. So if Jameis Winston lands with one of them, maybe that'll pique my interest.
I would actually prefer to see Jameis Winston go into TV because I loved him during Super Bowl week where he was having fun with interviewing the people in New Orleans. I think that he would be awesome on a pregame show.
He would be. He would be. And they need to have him doing something different, like a Cooper Manning type of thing. Soup with Coop. Yep. Soup with Coop, except you have I can't think of a segment right now. To get on
Jameis winning with Winston. There's always you just need to have alliteration and
eating W's.
There you go.
W's with Jameis. Boom, bing, bang.
I always think of alliteration because that's just what people love in television.
Yeah.
Case in point, Buki's big time bifocals.
Yeah.
Great segment. Mainly because of the alliteration.
Big time bifocals.
Big time bifocals. Yeah, dude. Like I'm getting exhausted by this whole thing, and thank God we're not talking about it on KMBR because why would we? But like it's just my NFL notifications. It's not anything significant. It's just players that you haven't heard of signing right now, and then it's like well, maybe any day now for Aaron Rodgers. If I had to guess, I'm hoping it's by the end of the week because Josina Anderson has been saying that it's kind of leaning in the direction that Pittsburgh's going to have an answer here eventually. I don't know though. I've given up hope that this is going to happen one way or the other. So when it happens, cool, we'll talk about it. But until then, I don't care.
Ernie too saying Steven kind of looking like a Zordon from Power Rangers.
Rangers.
I don't like that. I don't like that. It's just because of the ring light. He's
Yeah,
saying
you kind of got like a bluish hue going on right now.
I look like this dude.
Yeah.
Guy who gives him orders. Wow.
Yeah, but I always liked his voice.
Yeah. R.I.P. to the White Power Ranger, right?
Sure.
I think so.
Tommy?
I may have just accidentally, verbally killed a person, but I'm pretty sure he's dead.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, he fallen on hard times.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Speaking of well, actually, speaking of anything, I don't really know what the segue was.
Rest in peace.
Speaking of death of a Power Ranger, the Cincinnati Bengals signed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. No way related to that, but they actually got it done. And I didn't think they were going to get. I thought they would get the Jamar Chase deal done. Did not think they were going to sign T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Thought that T. Higgins was going to get traded, but when Joe Burrow goes on national TV or radio and says, I want these guys signed, they did the damn thing. And Jamar Chase gets 4 years, 161, 112 guaranteed, making him the highest non-paid QB in all of the land, eclipsing Myles Garrett. And then T. Higgins, not bad, gets 4 years, 115 with the first 2 years fully guaranteed. So annually, he's making less than Brandon Ayuk, but he gets all that guaranteed coin. I don't think they're going to be able to sign back Trey Hendrickson. I just don't think that, with Max Crosby getting his money or Nick Bosa getting his money, Myles Garrett, all these pass rushers, I don't think they can afford him. So that's another big one. And maybe that happens more towards draft time, but I would assume that Trey Hendrickson's going to get traded there. Any thoughts on these contracts, Stephen?
It was a little surprising. I mean, I get the Chase thing. Jamar Chase is awesome, but do you really want to waste almost half of your payroll on your quarterback and 2 wide receivers? They're just going to be outscoring everybody, or they're going to have to outscore everybody. Just take the over on every game. I guess that's my number one thought.
Well, yeah, considering when their defense a year ago was putrid, and that's why they fired who's our guy? Lou Anarumo. Yeah, and hired, I think it's Al Golden, I think is the name of the new coordinator they have from Notre Dame. I could be wrong on that one. But yeah, they're going to have to hit it in the draft pretty hard. Same thing with the Niners. And it's kind of the same formula that the Eagles did. Eagles paid Jalen Hurts, paid A.J. Brown, paid Devontae Smith, paid Saquon Barkley, and their defense is full of rookies. And they traded away C.J. Gardner-Johnson because he made too much money. Zach Bond doesn't make a ton of money as a linebacker, and their defensive line is, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, all guys that right now are on the cheap. So it could get costly for them down the line. But there's a thing. So, I'm not too worried about the Bengals. As long as they have Joe Burrow, I think they'll compete.
Well, the thing is, it's fascinating because from my vantage point, if I'm just looking at it from my simplistic NFL point of view, right?
Yes.
I think that they're putting all this money into the offense, right? Where's the defense going to come from? But these guys all have a plan. If this was just for the sake of locking them up because they wanted a new contract, then for the sake of I'm sorry, it's bad luck for T. Higgins, but probably should have kept him on a franchise tag instead of paying him all this money. Because you're Jamar Chase, you had to pay. T. Higgins could have gotten paid elsewhere. You could have let him go. It doesn't seem like it'd be smart business, but the front office probably has a plan. And this is where it becomes interesting, where I just want to let it play out. I don't really have much of an opinion on where this is going to go one way or another. Obviously, I think the defense is going to probably stink just based on this, but they got to have a plan. They got to have some sort of plan, and I'm really fascinated to see what that plan is because you don't really see much of one.
They're just doing
we're going to hit on our draft picks. We're going to get at the trade deadline. We're going to we're going to be smart. We're going to finagle our way through this, and we're going to build a championship core. Well, this is not the conventional way to do it. So there's clearly something the front office knows that we don't, and I want to know what the hell it is because I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't think the same kind of deal with the Niners. I don't think they really know. I think that they just have this philosophy, and they're going to see how it plays out in the draft. I don't think the Bengals can afford anybody defensively right now. So the best thing to do probably is to trade away Trey Hendrickson, get more draft capital, and then hopefully land guys in the draft. But that's easier said than done. It's just a different mentality they've had in the past because they would never do this. And they're finally paying guys. So that's a good thing. At the same time, for a team that was all offense and no defense, I don't see how the defense improves.
That's the thing. And, you kind of mentioned the 49ers, just real quick on that.
Yeah.
I felt like you did have a plan, but the more that we talked to Silver, the more that you've read about the Ayuk stuff, I felt like they had a plan, but Kyle Shanahan kind of threw a wrench into it when they forced him to give them all that money, because that $30 million a year contract is really holding them back, and potentially most of that guaranteed stuff to Nick Bosa. Maybe that's coming back to bite him as well. But listen, I'd like to think the 49ers had a plan, because that's what they've made it seem like all along, they kind of, without saying things like Joe Lacob calling himself Joey Light Years, we're light years ahead of everybody. Lynch is always talking about how we're not thinking about this year. We're thinking about how this is going to impact us in 2, 3, 4 years' time. So I'd like to think they're kind of driven by the future, but I think Shanahan said, no, I need my wide receiver. I don't have any wide receivers next year and stuff.
No, but that's why they tried to find, replacements. That's why they were poking around about Emmanuel Sanders or anybody else, or not, sorry, not Emmanuel Sanders, Cortland Sutton. But yeah, they wanted to pay Brandon Ayuk, and I know some people are freaking out about it and saying like, oh, they're not going to be as good. I don't know that yet. I really don't. I think that they could compete. I think that they compete in the NFC West. Obviously, other teams that division have done more this offseason, but it's always not about that. It's just the whole thing of we're doing the Buffalo Bills thing. We're doing the LA Rams thing with Stafford and Josh Allen, and I have more faith in those quarterbacks than I do of that of Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on Purdy this year. No doubt about that. Okay, back to the Bengals thing real quick. The thing that I was interested the most, it wasn't the contracts. Like eventually they were going to pay Jamar Chase, and Teagan's got paid. Cool. It's the guy that broke the story. It was Jordan Schultz, and he got the exclusive. Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport were sleeping or just didn't have the exclusive that he had. He talked to both players. They told him, and in unison, he tweeted it out, and both of them retweeted it and gave like a thumbs up or handshake agreement. And Jordan Schultz got his revenge on Ian Rappaport from their fight at Starbucks at the Combine through the whole Matthew Stafford story. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, I was like, that's interesting. And then like maybe 20 minutes later, Tom Pelissero comes in with his tweet and says, yeah, I got verification. Yes, both of these deals are done. And I get all of the notifications on my phone. So Jordan Schultz, every time he tweets, he was responding to Tom Pelissero or NFL.com being like, he didn't have this first. I had it first. And that's why it was good to have Mike Silver on the next day. So I talked to him off air. Oh, and we were going to get into this on the show, but I asked him, I was like, so between you and me, if you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to. Do people like Jordan Schultz? And he was like, oh, no. And that's what I always thought was he's not looked at as highly regarded as the other NFL insiders. But the NFL insider game is a dirty game. It sounds like it. Like you hear these reports of Adam Schefter giving, Johnny Walker Blue to NFL GMs. And I guess Jordan Schultz has stock in Uber that he's given to these players, or he can stay at their, like his apartment. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he has the hookup on Starbucks. Hey, bro, I can get you free egg bites for life.
He probably can. He probably does that too. Like if you want a good croissant, I know the spot. It's Starbucks.
Hey, I noticed you're drinking a Grande cold brew. Well, I got news on the potential cream that we got coming out that no one even knows about yet, and I'll give you the first look.
Yeah. No, but I mean, Mike Florio went in on Jordan Schultz in a whole article just being like, the insider game is dead. And exclusives don't mean paying off your athletes to get the inside information. So I will say, I do think it's lame that Pelissero wouldn't at least credit Jordan Schultz because he did have the story. He had it first. He beat all of you to it. And Tom Pelissero, you know, I'll say has been very snooty, snotty even when it comes to reporting stuff. Like you can call out, Pretty Ricky or any of these other people on Twitter, but when it comes to a legit guy, and you can question if he's legit or not, but when it comes to a guy that works for Fox, does report on NFL news, and you refer to him as an internet rumor guy, I could get why that's disrespectful. So I think Jordan Schultz, to his credit, wanted to clap back at these guys. However, he got this information. That's his business, but he got the story on him. He got the drop on the two biggest guys in the whole insider game, Schefter and Rappaport. And I just find it interesting that everyone is just so catty in this business.
It's no secret, Derek.
No, I know, but
come on, we all knew this before, right?
I know it, but it's just funny to me how it's coming out and open now. Like Florio is writing a whole fucking article about how much he hates Jordan Schultz, and Mike Silver's telling me like, yeah, nah, people don't like him.
So wait, did he already write that article?
Yeah, Mike Florio came out with an article on Pro Football Talk the next day, being like, I don't know if you could call that exclusive, Jordan.
I'm into it. Into it. Let's watch others beef.
Yeah, no, that's why we all loved the Rappaport and Schultz fight at Starbucks because we thought that was ridiculous. You got now you're in the command center for the Power Rangers. Look at you, Rangers
production value. I kind of do look like that.
It's not bad.
It works.
And I'll be the other. What was the little robot that looked like he was wearing a hat? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Aye.
There's got to be a segment we could do with this. I don't know what it would be. I got to look up some Zordon content.
Yeah. Were you a big Power Rangers kid?
I mean, I didn't pronounce the guy's name right, so no. Well, I mean, I'm not going to act like I wasn't. Of course, I
was huge into Power Rangers.
Everyone was a Power Rangers kid. I was the green Power Ranger for Halloween one year.
Oh yeah, no. I had all the figurines. I had all all the movies, all the VHS tapes.
Yeah.
I loved Goldar, if you remember him. He was like the big freaky cat.
Huh.
I want to say like creature where he was covered in gold and he had wings and he had a weird freaky voice. Yeah, my dad was not.
If you don't mind, I'm going to keep this. I kind of like it.
No, by all means, sir. Keep that background. It's kind of badass, actually. My dad, for whatever reason, not into me watching Power Rangers. Thought it was too violent.
Really?
Too violent. Yeah, they would fight, but it wasn't like blood. When they get shot, it would be like sparks coming out.
Hey, son, let me introduce you to football.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. Come on, Derek. Let's watch he like, let's go see Dumb and Dumber. What? Power Rangers? That's way too inappropriate for you. All right. What else do I want to get to tonight? The QB show's coming back. Did you see the little preview?
I did.
Yeah, I thought it was people were freaking out initially when you watch like the preview for it. The first couple of minutes, it's them teasing like there's going to be a mascot show, and I knew right away that was fake. But like people didn't watch the whole video. Like if you look at the comments, people are like, "Are you fucking kidding me? We're gonna do a whole show on the mascots? It's ridiculous." It's like, dude, watch the whole goddamn video. So yeah, QB show's coming back, and you got Jared Goff, you got Joe Burrow, and you got Kirk Cousins. So you'll see Kirk Cousins shit the bed the last few weeks of the season and get benched for Michael Penix, which I'm sure will go very well in whenever this is released in June or July, probably July.
That's going to be fairly interesting, I think. Hopefully, Jared Goff goes through his Bay Area roots. Joe Burrow is going to show how much of a Star Wars nerd he is, and then we're going to, and then bonfires with Coop, baby. We're back.
Yep, we're back to bonfires with Coop, and I think at that point, hopefully, Kirk Cousins is on a different team because if he's still on the Falcons, that's going to look awkward. Like the same way that we were all like Devontae really doesn't like being on the Raiders.
You're right. For sure. That's going to be, watching his time with the Atlanta front office. I want to find out when I hope they find out when he learned. Like, I hope they had the camera on him when he learned that they were drafting Penix, or maybe they did this after.
No, it's well,
Maybe they found footage.
it's going to be last season, so I'm assuming that they'll show him winning the Raider game because that's when it happened right before that. And then I don't know if we'll see it, but I'm sure like we'll get him doing the thing where he's doing the talking head thing. He's like, "Well, I was just told that I'm not going to be the starting quarterback anymore, and I got to say, I'm kind of pissed. I was Kirk Thuggins, and now I'm nothing." So, yeah, well,
I'm sure that's exactly what he'll say.
Yep,
Who knows?
verbatim.
Maybe we'll get his meeting with Trump too. How that went.
Yeah, I doubt we'll get that. This is the last thing we need is Trump on. I love quarterbacks, love receivers, I love Netflix.
Future Hall of Famer. Future Hall of Famer. You'll get your championship. Don't you worry. That trophy case will be filled before you know it.
Want to go to some Warriors?
Sure, Derek.
Let's do it. Warriors win last night. But let's talk about the night before, Monday, to start off. So the game started off being the biggest test in the Jimmy Butler era for the Golden State Warriors. They have not beaten the Denver Nuggets. What are you smiling about? I know. They've not beaten the Denver Nuggets in 8 consecutive tries. And this was going to be a big test. We thought Nikola Jokic was going to play, Jamal Murray, possibly. And they were coming off a really bad loss to the Washington Wizards, where Jordan Poole hit not a half-court three, but a pretty long-distance three to win that game. And I guess it's significant because Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are not playing, I think, tomorrow night against the LA Lakers, or maybe it's tonight. I don't know. But yeah, they didn't play in the game on Monday night, so then it became a debate right before tip-off. Should Steph Curry even play in this game? Because he was dealing with a back injury, strained back. So we were talking about it. Should he play? Should he sit this one? It's a Western Conference game. Is it good for him just to play and make sure you get the win? So they played Steph Curry. I think that was the plan all along, was play in the Nuggets game because that game is more important, and then sit for the Bucks game. So they play the game, and the Warriors have their worst performance since acquiring Jimmy Butler. And I would call it the most disappointing loss of the season. They've had worse losses this season, losing to Utah and losing to the Raptors and losing to Miami at home without Jimmy Butler. But to lose to the Denver Nuggets that don't have their 2 best players, that's a bad look. Now, Michael Porter Jr. had a fantastic game. Aaron Gordon had an amazing game. I mean, Russell Westbrook dishing out, 16 assists? Yeah, it was a 3-man army. But they didn't play their best game. They had 22 turnovers. They played sloppy themselves. It wasn't until later on in the game where the Warriors got back into it, but the Nuggets just kept answering.
Yeah.
The thing is they made history. I don't know if you saw the stats, Steven, but I'm sure you did. The Warriors were the first team, and not only NBA history, but WNBA history, to shoot, I think it was 30% from three-point range, less than 55% from free throws, and commit 20 turnovers all in the same game. That's never happened before. And Steph Curry had a pretty bad game with 7 turnovers. The whole team just had a bad game.
Sure.
So I was like, damn, am I thinking too much into this? Like, am I kind of thinking like maybe it's just a one-off game? They're just kind of rusty. Should we think that they could compete with other teams in the Western Conference like the Nuggets or everybody else? If they would have won that game, they would have made it a three-game difference between them and the Nuggets where they could make it manageable to possibly overtake them. But they dropped that game, and then Steve Kerr makes it clear right afterwards, like Steph's tired. And Draymond says we're all tired. Jimmy Butler wants to build up the team and say, like, oh, we got to protect him. And the way that Steve was talking, like, oh, he's carried us the last few games. And Steph has had amazing performances since they got Jimmy Butler, but he also has said it's made life very, much more easier for me. And, they needed him to win that game against the Magic, scoring 56. They needed him in that game against the Brooklyn Nets. but they didn't need him in that Sacramento game. He had 2 significant threes, but it was everybody around him making threes.
What are you getting at here, Derek?
What I'm getting at is I don't really know what I'm getting. What do you say?
Sing my song.
What?
You're just rambling on, man.
I'm rambling, man.
What the hell is your point?
My point is, if Steph needs rest, he needs rest, and Steve knows better than us.
Yeah.
It's just funny that Steph even himself was like, I don't think I need to rest. I think I just have a bad back. But then when they gave the injury report the next day, it was just rest.
See, that's what's funny to me. That's the thing that stuck out through the entire game. Like the loss, it sucked. And really, if they ended up losing to the Bucks, I think it would be much more of a talking point. It seemed like that was more of an outlier. Did they do it at a historic proportion? Yeah, it sucked to watch. But I did think that in the post game where Kerr was just, he's tired. Yeah, that was about as direct of a response as he had. Like, he did his normal Kerr thing. Then after he said he's tired, then when he was asked again, I believe it was by Aaron Wilson from Cron, she asked him just point blank. It didn't have anything to do with the back. It was just no.
Nice pooped.
No.
Stanko.
He pooped. He's pooped. I wish they would say that on the injury report. Pooped.
Yeah. You know, if I had more time, I would have made a whole thing of the lowlights of the game to that song from Blazing Saddles. I'm tired of playing the game.
Yeah.
And then like one guy at the end is like they get all upbeat. Can't you see she's pooped? But
only you would come out with that. But
I know.
But the thing that's funny, Derek, is like Steph, he's okay if he's revealing an injury. But he does not want anyone to know that he's lost a little bit of that conditioning that he's always had. I think there was a little bit of like an age crisis there because he just turned 37 years old. And then Steve Kerr's just like, he's tired. He's been carrying us for a month. He's tired. Then Steph's like, I'm not tired. I mean, I'm tired.
Damn, someone's throwing fireworks right outside my window.
Hello.
What's the occasion?
It's just your trivia, man. 311th episode. What's not?
There you go. Hey, 311. Whoa.
I just thought that was really. I just thought that part was. It was a little laughable. Like, it's just, no, I'm not tired. I'm not tired. No, I'm not tired. I'm 37 years old. I'm not tired. How can I get tired? I'm Steph Curry. I don't get tired. It's my back. I have back issues. It's like, that sounds even worse, bud.
Yeah, when he starts saying, "Oh, my back," which it probably would have been a little bit better had the Warriors just said it's a back thing instead. Like on the injury report, rest.
Right.
It's like, oh, yep. Old man Steph just needs to take a night off, huh?
It does concern you a little bit. Like, even though we're going to talk about, I'm sure, last night's game, but it does concern you a little bit going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Although, I'll ask you this then. So, obviously, Steph having to rest would be a concern, right? Like, if you're going to the postseason and he's fatigued, like, you don't want that. Like, we need you playing into June, man. But did last night make you feel any better about that potentially if Steph is fatigued? Because like Draymond, like even in that Denver game, they did cut the lead to 6. And there were a couple of times when Draymond, I don't know, this may be just me, but he got a couple of bursts of speed where he's going from one end of the floor to the other and he's dunking the basketball. I'm like, damn, he's 35 years old and he's moving like that. I don't know if a lot of the guys who have has put on as much mileage on their bodies as he has, I don't know if they'd be moving like that at 35. Like, that's pretty impressive. And then he obviously had the night that he had last night against Giannis.
Yeah, no. I am not relatively concerned about Steph Curry. I am concerned about the 3 main stars of the team and their age and going up against OKC or Memphis or any of these younger teams and them not being as spry and them, getting into a physical series and it gets, difficult. But
I think you just laid out what's going to be the number one key to the game for every game for the Warriors when they go to the playoffs. If they even get there automatically, the Timberwolves are still right there. I think the Timberwolves actually played tonight, didn't they? I need to check the score on that.
Yeah, they're playing the Pelicans.
But I think that started at like 5. But the number one key, dude, is going to be you got to control the tempo. Yeah. You got to play at your pace. Don't let that other team run you up and down the court. Draw fouls. Play good defense. Dictate it. dictate the game. That's going to be the number one key every single time. Kalena's big time bifocals.
There you go. The Laker game and Nugget game was tonight, and the Nuggets are getting their ass kicked without Jokic and Murray, which is no surprise there. Wow, the Pelicans beat the Timberwolves 119-115, so that helps out the Warriors a great deal. And now the Clippers move up in the standings. They're the 7th seed now, and Minnesota falls to 8. So that's pretty interesting. As far as last night, yeah, I feel better about the situation with the Warriors right now because I honestly, even though Monday was disappointing and they played awful, I wasn't too concerned because I thought they would. It's great to come right back and have a game against a fairly good opponent. You still got to go up against Giannis and Damian Lillard. And without Steph, I kind of thought, all right, let's see what Jimmy's got because Jimmy knows how to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. He's done it before in the postseason, twice in upsets. That's how I think both times that's how Jimmy Butler carried the Heat to the finals, is beating Giannis. And Jimmy was great last night. Jimmy looked like Miami Jimmy, where he played the entire fourth quarter and he's getting to the line. He didn't miss any free throws. I think he was 11 for 11. I think his total last night was 24 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. So that close to a triple-double. But no, Jimmy Butler took over the game, and everybody was talking about, like, when are we going to see that Jimmy Butler? And you saw it last night. And Draymond Green was incredible.
Yeah.
That's the best I've seen Draymond Green this season. I know Draymond Green gets a lot of shit lately in the last few seasons, whether it's punching Jordan Poole or, getting suspended for Sabonis or putting Rudy Gobert in a headlock and getting suspended and therapy and all that. But this season, it hasn't been as demonstrative. I mean, we can count the whole Karl-Anthony Towns situation, but I have nothing to say about that. I think that the whole situation was just in poor taste, but whatever. As far as him on the court, he's playing at a really high level right now. And that's the reason why no matter how much shit he does, they still put up with him. And yeah, he is playing at a defensive player of the year level. Last night, I mean, God, what was it? 4 blocks. I don't remember how many steals he had.
A couple of steals.
Yeah, but the telling stat to me was when he was guarding Giannis was 0 for 6. That's all you need to know. He shut him down.
Yeah.
Like in a similar fashion of being a middle linebacker or even like Darrelle Revis covering the best wide receiver on a team, Draymond Green transcends defensive basketball to me. Like, I know there's been a lot of great defenders in NBA history, Kawhi Leonard, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, 2 of which played with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr last night said he's the best defensive basketball player I've ever seen. And you really have to see Draymond Green in person to really do it justice of what he does offensively and defensively. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen anybody better when it comes to defense. Is he going to win Defensive Player of the Year this season? Probably not. It'll probably go to Evan Mobley. But, I think Draymond Green he's having a great season, had an all-time performance last night.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the way we talk about like Fred Warner. Just being able to cover in all different facets. Okay, you need him to be a perimeter defender. He can do that. Oh, shoot. He's coming off the high screen here. He's not going through the screen. This guy's shooting a 3. Well, he's going to close out on him. Snap. Some guy's going to the rim and they're passing it. Don't worry. Draymond's going to have help on that weak side. Like, there's just different things that he does. And, with his height, he's not going to get the blocks. This may be the most obvious statement ever. But if there is ever going to be a time where he comes through and potentially wins Defensive Player of the Year, I don't know who's making a better case right now.
Well, I mean, that's fair. But also at the same time, I think they probably give the edge to, a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers who are not going to be represented with MVP. So they'll give it to Evan Mobley for, I guess, his stat. He's having like a bunch of, block shots and everything. And that's the thing. Like, Draymond Green doesn't get the stat sheet or it doesn't like compile stats like that. That's why Rudy Gobert has won it every single year. It feels like that at least. But when he gets to the playoffs, it's a different version of Rudy Gobert. Like Draymond Green, he gets better during the postseason when it comes to defense.
Yeah. And I do think his assessment of Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett, now he's up there with those players, is correct. Doesn't have like the surface level stats that you always want, but they just impact the games where they are forcing the entire team to make you think. But I'll also say KG and Tim Duncan were having to do it on the offensive side too.
Yeah.
Like the offense was running through them. So it almost makes that like even more impressive what they did back in the day. So even though he's up there with them, it's like you got to think, well, they also were doing it on the offensive end, Draymond. Although Draymond does a lot offensively too.
Yeah.
Right. But like
it's just different. He's not putting up the points like those guys.
Right. So I think the case is there. He might not win it, and he's probably going to get and he's probably going to get snubbed once again. But I do think there is something to him actually wanting it. You know?
Yeah, well, he definitely campaigned for it. I think usually, like, truth be told, I think when you kind of talk about it with the media helps you out. Like,
Right.
I think Khalil Mack getting Defensive Player of the Year in 2016, that was neck and neck with Von Miller. But I'll give my dad credit when he got that pick 6 against Cam Newton and, had like a forced fumble to win that game. And my dad, I think my dad screamed out like in the final call, who's Defensive Player of the Year? I think that helped his case because everybody, that writes for football saw that highlight, heard that call, and was like, yeah, it should be Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
So Draymond Green going to the podium last night and saying, I want to be Defensive Player of the Year, that may help him. But also I think things he said may hurt him this year. I think there's also an East Coast bias that comes with all these awards.
There's that too.
And I wanted to play this. Steven, do you mind pulling up, you probably saw this from you being a Dan Le Batard fan. You pull up Sam Morrell talking about Draymond Green. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Yes. Sam Morrell, I haven't actually watched his stand-up, but I think I probably would be into it. He's
good.
Yeah, you watched him?
Yeah, he's got like one of his older specials on Prime or whatever. I'm gonna have to get a while to pull this up. Hang on.
No, it's all good. That's the one thing. Like I think that there is a bias against Draymond Green, and rightfully so, for the shit he says or his antics on the court sometimes. I don't think it's been as demonstrative this season. But, I think a lot of people in the New York media were not happy about what went on with Karl-Anthony Towns, and I don't blame them for that because I can't defend him. Just promoting his podcast when finding out that Karl-Anthony Towns lost a friend. So, yeah, can't defend that. Here's Sam Morrell on with Dan Le Batard talking about how much he hates Draymond Green.
Draymond bothers me. And you said he apologized. He didn't apologize. He gave a Draymond apology. He bothers me. The podcast he has bothers me because he brought in Baron Davis to make himself more likable. He's not likable. He's terrible at broadcasting. He lacks charisma. The way Shaq and Barkley ball bust, Draymond can't. He's not able to do that. He's like the kid who thinks he can ball bust, but then says, like, your mom has cancer. And you're like, that's not a joke that she actually does have cancer. That's like his sense of humor. He sucks. And you think a guy like this, like, is he a Hall of Famer? Of course. He's a great player. He's a great defender. He's mentally ill. If he was a football player, he'd be Antonio Brown by now. He's unhinged. He has like the ego of like, it's like if Ringo Starr was the biggest dick in the Beatles, Like, it's weird that Paul, George, and John are nice, and then Ringo's a dick.
Fair assessment, man. Fair assessment. I'm like, and then Dan Le Batard's like, I don't know if it's fair to call him mentally ill. And then Sam's like, oh, I guess he has all his marbles then. But that's fair. Besides the mentally ill part, I do think that's totally fair because there's a side of Draymond where he's a great player, and if you're not a fan of his, you have the right to call him a dick. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and there are instances where you do think like he's the type of guy that can dish it but just can't take it.
Yeah.
And there's all those types of people out there like that. But that doesn't take away from what he does as a player and what he does for the Warriors. And I don't know, from everything I've heard, like from anyone that works in the organization, I don't know many, but I know a few. And they all say Draymond's like a very affable dude. Yeah. So I don't know, this persona that he puts on, I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if it's like an ego thing. I don't know what it is, but I've just been told off the court he seems like a different person. So, or at least off the mic too. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of gauge Draymond, really.
And I'll also counter with what Sam said about he's more likable with Baron Davis. No. Baron Davis adds nothing to that podcast. Like,
Hey,
yeah.
hey,
Oh man.
hey,
Yeah. Carl Anthony Towns didn't want any of that smoke, huh?
hey,
Yeah.
cat, man, cat. Hey,
I like the podcast more when Baron Davis wasn't on it.
yeah,
He's just a sidekick. Like you could have got the guy that produces the podcast to just tee up Draymond. Like, but now Baron just he annoys the crap out of me, to be completely honest.
yeah. He one time he came on the morning show and he just added nothing to it with
Yeah.
on 95.7, and I remember like we hung up on him and we were just like, what the hell was that, Baron? Like, dude, he literally had zero interest in doing it, which is fine, but it's like how whenever we heard, like, if you're not interested in doing a radio hit, that's okay.
Yeah.
But when you hear these people want to go on and do other media things whenever they're not interested, it's like, well, what's going to make me interested in the pod? It's kind of like the Debo thing. Debo's never seemed interested in talking to the media, never seemed interested in analyzing the game. It looked like he just wanted to get in, get out, kind of do his thing in private. But then he has a podcast, and you're like, well, that doesn't seem right. Like,
now
that doesn't seem like something he wants to do.
That's a bad avenue for Debo because he was really good on the Netflix show, but I didn't think he was that interesting as far as like let's analyze the game. Like with the first episode he did with Brandon Ayuk, I was like,
right,
yeah, this is so robotic. Like
right.
I'm sorry. Like, and believe me, I know like I'm not amazing on the radio sometimes or even on this podcast, but like Jesus, man.
Yeah. Like, even on the volume had the right idea, like getting Sherman and getting Draymond.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the Draymond Green show with Baron Davis. It's not that much.
Must live on.
Better.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I thought his whole thing against Stephen A was totally ridiculous. I got to be honest. Like, the whole mentality of, like, you can't talk about LeBron James as a father. Yeah, you can. Yeah, because his son's in the league, and you can not think that the way he's going about it is the right way. I think that's totally fair. And for whatever reason, Draymond loves himself to LeBron James right now. And I know they have the same representation and everything, but, like, that's a fight that I think Draymond could just excuse himself from.
What do you mean right now? Draymond loves himself some LeBron right now. He's loved himself some LeBron since like LeBron left the Cavs.
Yeah, I know. I'm in recent years, but like I miss the days where Draymond punched LeBron James in the dick. I do.
The good old days. The Draymond.
The good old days. The good old days where we lost that NBA Finals. Nah, damn it. But to answer your question, Steven, earlier, I feel better about the Warriors now. Draymond Green having his performance last night. The Jimmy Butler performance made me think if Steph Curry is tired in a playoff series, then Jimmy will pick him up. And let's be honest, like Steph had an amazing 2022 NBA Finals. That's what led to him, digging down deep and having an amazing Game 4, scoring, I think it was 45 points and being MVP. But the championships where they won with KD, Steph would have really good Game 1s, Game 2s, and then not shoot very well in Game 3. And then KD had to pick it up, and that's what ultimately led him having MVP. So having Jimmy Butler's presence there now, I think is going to help Steph Curry kind of, pace himself in a long series.
I just love it. It's not just how, Jimmy's going to impact the others. One thing that we saw earlier this season, Derek, especially when I always think of Dennis Schroeder when I think about this, but one thing we heard is like their confidence just was gone with missed shot after missed shot. And I think that game last night is absolutely a game that they lose prior to Jimmy Butler getting there, because Butler said, like, look, dude, I don't think I'm ever out of a game. I think that until the final buzzer, like, I don't ever think I'm out of it. I don't think we ever let a lead slip away. I just think this is a natural game of runs, and one team's going to score, the other team's not. Like, sometimes you go back and forth, but a lot of the time, like, as long as you play good defense and get stops, like, you can go on a run yourself. So I don't think we're ever out of it. And he just he has this attitude, man, like, where it's just so different than I think what they've been used to for a long time. the Andrew Wiggins type who didn't really speak much. Like that's what they've been used to. The Jonathan Kuminga, who, I mean, hasn't been this way so much this year. So I do want to give him credit for improving, but beforehand he was sulking a lot. Jordan Poole, who just got punched. Like it's a whole different attitude. And that's why I feel confident going into the play. Anything can happen in the playoffs. So I'm not going to sit here and say like, the Warriors are going to win the championship. I think it's great that they believe they can, but I do think they have the right mindset to compete because they didn't have that before. And it's crazy that Jimmy's kind of permeated that through the locker room.
Oh, definitely, dude. I mean, I keep saying this, but it's night and day. Like, it's from where they were before to now, and Steph Curry not having an answer to Anthony Slater and how this improves to now. Them having a lot of fun. I don't think they've had this much fun since the KD days or when they won the last championship. And yeah, it's a different deal because you got another leader on the team. They didn't have a lot of leadership. It was Draymond, it was Andre, it was Steph. KD, let's be honest, he's tried to do the super team thing with 2 other franchises and it hasn't worked out. I think mainly because of him and his lack of leadership skills. And I think that Jimmy Butler's different. We always talk about him being that dog. It's because he's a leader. He will tell everybody else, we need to fucking do this. And that's what happened last night. So it's good to have another Draymond. As Draymond said when they were trying to acquire somebody at the trade deadline, I need another asshole. So they got Jimmy Butler. So they got plenty of assholes on the court. But yeah, I feel fairly confident. Are they going to win the championship? I would say no. Not this season. But who the hell knows? They could upset a team. I think at this point, if they get the 5 seed, cool. If they get the 4 seed, even better. At this point, what I'm anticipating is they stay afloat. They stay at the 6 seed. And, I doubt they'll play Denver in the first round. I think Denver will find a way to get up to 2, and then Houston will come down or whatever the final standings will be. If it ends up being a Rockets-Warriors series in the first round, I like the Warriors' chances. If it's a Warriors-Lakers first-round matchup, toss-up, but I think we could stay competitive in that series. If it's a Memphis Grizzlies-Warriors series, Memphis is much younger, but in the past, the Warriors have beaten them, so that could go in their favor, although it's a different team this year. I just think that the seeding doesn't matter at this point. I like the Warriors' chances just to make some noise in the playoffs.
I agree. I'm with you.
Yep.
We need to get back to the days of, oh damn it wasn't going to work. I had the Quickie shirt lined up to go in the background, but that Quickie shirt's gone. It didn't work. Didn't pan out. Sorry.
Oh, where Draymond wearing the Quickie shirt for Quicken Loans, making fun of the sweep.
Correct.
With the Cavs.
Correct.
Ah, man, good times. Those parades. Damn. Just right over here too. Anyway. Steven, you wanted to talk about some March Madness.
No, I was just saying, let's pick a winner, man. Let's pick a winner, and also let's pick at least one team who we think could be a Cinderella story for this one, who can at least make a run. Who do you got?
Well,
if you had one.
We'll do that, but also I believe you wanted to shill something you're hawking these days.
Oh no, not yet.
Okay, all right. I'll wait then. I'll wait.
I have to wait that out.
Fair enough. Okay. You're like, oh no, not yet. Okay, so I haven't filled out a bracket yet, but I did look things over, and just going through all the matchups, I'll admit, as a very immature man, none of the fun teams are in it, like Morehead State or Furman, like all the funny names. Like who else am I missing? Morehead, Sac State, Ball State. All the innuendos. Am I thinking of anything else I'm missing?
I don't know, Derek. I don't know, Derek. You maybe we can grab some 13-year-old who's a big college basketball fan who I'm sure is loving the same jokes that you are.
No, please. So do you. Stop this.
No, not really. I kind of grew out of that, Derek.
Oh, whatever. Like or even like the weird names. Like remember like when Bradley won? Just the name Bradley. A college named Bradley.
I liked UMBC Golden Retrievers.
That's not bad. I
liked them when they upset Virginia that one year.
Yeah. We also got what are some fun names this or fun school names this year? I think we got Lipscomb, good old Lipscomb.
Lipscomb. We got
We got
McNeese. I like McNeese.
yeah, McNeese is not bad. Got High Point. These are all basically just schools I used in today's Harmony to make it sexual. Especially Lipscomb. That was a good one. But yeah, as far as like the main teams, I like all of the guys that really know college basketball, like your guy Habermans or your Roxy Bernsteins, all say like basically it's kind of going to be the blue bloods, like the really good teams, the top seeds that probably advance.
Yeah.
So going through it, you want to give me like my legit like Final Four?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. I think I had Duke, Michigan State, St. John's, and wow, what was my fourth one? I wish I had it in front of me. I forget. But if you have a Final Four, Steven, get to it because then I'll think of the one I'm missing.
I don't have one in front of me either.
Okay.
I had St. John's. I had Duke. I think I had. I had
Kentucky. I had Kentucky.
Oh, okay. I think I had New Mexico going pretty darn far.
Really?
In this tournament, yeah. Just
you
because
get an intel from like I don't know who do you know that loves college basketball?
Nobody. I just
Okay.
like I saw a bunch of Lobos fans in Vegas, and I'm like, New Mexico must be going far.
Yeah.
So go Lobos. But I actually look. I'll just give you the team I had winning it all. I had St. John's. Just their numbers look more appealing to me.
Yeah.
And just for whatever reason, like I probably would take Duke, but something just tells me they're going to get disappointed in this tournament just because I don't know what it is, dude. I'm not going to act like I'm a March Madness fanatic. You should have seen Jesse filling out a bracket earlier, by the way. Having to explain like everything was pretty funny. Like, what's the AP top 25? What's AP? like it's Associated Press. Well, why do they get to dictate it? Why do they get the rankings? I'm like, it's just the way it is.
I do love whenever you have office stuff when it comes to fantasy football or March Madness brackets and just, not the biggest sport. And Jesse's a big sports fan. Obviously, she loves the Sharks and Giants, but it's just funny how people that don't watch sports get into this thing and they're like, yeah, I picked this team. And you're like, you don't even watch sports. Screw you.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing she said was VC. What the fuck is VCU? Virginia Capital University? I said Virginia Commonwealth.
It's an STD.
I was like, Virginia Commonwealth. And she's like, Virginia Commonwealth? What is this, from the 1700s? I'm like,
yeah.
1800s, actually. Virginia Commonwealth. It's pretty old school. And then she's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was just really funny seeing all that. But look, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about college basketball. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't watch during the regular season. I even see. Did Texas beat Xavier? Hold on here.
Oh, let me look. They did not. Xavier moved
fuck.
Oh,
that sucks.
Yeah, real shame for you.
Hey, Mount St. Mary's, the porn version. That's what I was doing today. I was writing dirty jokes for everything March Madness related. If I had to pick a real winner, I'm going with Michigan State. Michigan State.
Wow.
Yep, going with them. Going with Tom Izzo and the Sparties winning the national championship.
Wow.
As far as like a fun Cinderella team,
just choose one. Choose one that you got to focus on.
I do like Lipscomb. Lipscomb's funny to me. Just that name, Lipscomb.
Lipscomb. So you want Lipscomb?
Lipscomb, baby. Yeah, I would. If they advance, I don't even know who they're playing in the first round, but if they advance, that'd be hilarious to me. Like last year, didn't Princeton upset? I think Arizona.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that this season, but I think it's going to be more in the second round. I think we're not going to see a lot of upsets in the first round. I was going through the brackets and kind of doing like the ESPN thing. I think it's going to be more the 8th seeds that are actually sneaky good, like a Creighton or like a UConn is an 8th seed this season. I think they can upset the 1 seed in the second round. Ooh. So that's what I see is like more good teams of the past that are lower seeds advancing. But like Lipscomb would be fun. St. Mary's, obviously, for Randy Bennett. If they advance pretty far, that'd be fun too. So yeah, I can't say I'm an expert when it comes to bracketology.
Yeah. I'm going Yale. That's my team to make the star.
Ivy League?
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Going Yale.
For any particular reason?
No. Because they score a lot. That's why.
Okay.
Going Yale.
All right.
I don't have any. Go Bulldogs, man. I'm a Yale guy.
Okay, so our legit winners are Steven says St. John's, I say Michigan State. And then for fun, I guess I'll go St. Mary's and Steven will go Yale.
Yale, baby.
There you go.
Yale all day. Or maybe BYU.
Morgans?
Yeah, break out the Mountain Dew, babe.
All right. Steve Young.
Steve Young, Fred Warner.
Oh, yeah, there you go. God, I forgot Fred Warner's from BYU.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to get to tonight, Steven?
Shit.
Shit.
No, I got nothing.
Did you like Robbie Ray last night?
I didn't watch Robbie Ray last night.
Good on you.
Yeah. How about that new Giants song from La Russell? Hmm?
Yeah, we could get into that. You want to play it?
No, not really.
Yeah, it's not that good. And look, I'm getting older now. The hip hop that I once loved is considered old. So La Russell's not my style. But if I'm going to be completely honest here, this is kind of a different vibe the Giants are going for, and not one I ever thought they would do. It kind of feels like something the Oakland A's would do with La Russell instead of the Giants, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, I think La Russell probably might have been an A's fan growing up.
Yeah.
It's from Vallejo. Like I don't know. You can't really tell with people from Vallejo. I don't know if they're San Francisco or Oakland fans through and through. I mean, E40, used to rock Raider gear all the time, but now he's the biggest Niner fan out there. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Look, man, I like La Russell a lot. I like more what he's doing for music, more than I enjoy his music. His music's fine. Like it's good. And he's sometimes got bars, and I like what he's doing for music, but he also doesn't come out with any songs that are more than 2 minutes. And it's just, I tried listening through an album once and a lot of it kind of sounds similar. So
yeah,
he puts out a lot of content, does a lot of really, really good things for the community and and he's trying to keep Bay Area hip hop, the hyphy movement, whatever it is, alive. So I respect that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That.
As we say on Dirty Work, I'm not yucking anybody's yum. If you like La Russell, by all means, listen to him. It's just not my cup of tea. Yeah. I will say in that song, I think it was the second verse where he goes, take me out to the ball game. I was like, you're losing me. You're losing me fast. That's lame. Do we want to do a little trailer watch of Happy Gilmore 2?
Oh boy.
Ernie 2's asking for it. Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Happy Gilmore. Okay, good Lord.
By the way, that Robert De Niro movie's coming out this weekend where he is the dual roles as gangsters.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna go watch?
I don't know if I want to watch it that bad. You know what's actually happening right now? My dad's actually down the road at the Grand Lake Theater because they're doing the premiere of Freaky Tales. You heard about this movie?
Sounds familiar.
Well, Freaky Tales sounds familiar because Too Short has a song called Freaky Tales.
Okay.
And Too Short's involved. He plays a cop in the movie. Marshawn Lynch is in the movie. It's a movie about Oakland in 1987 where something's going on. There's different storylines. But the main thing, well, not the main thing, but I guess a different storyline is Sleepy Floyd of Sleepy Floyd is Superman. There's a whole thing where people are trying to rob him and he turns into a ninja and slices him up, the intruders. So I haven't seen the trailer of this thing yet, but it sounds very interesting and kind of unconventional. So Freaky Tales. I may check this out when it's actually released to the public.
Oh, yeah. I remember this one. Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal's in it. Is this a trailer?
This is for
Happy Gilmore? Yeah, let's watch a little Happy Gilmore too.
No.
Arnold, Jacko, Tiger, SpongeBob? What is that? What's with the beaver teeth? I haven't swung a club in years. I'm a little intimidated. All these guys hit it big now. I don't know where to start.
Come on, brother. Grip it and rip it.
I guess I need to update my happy place to something a little more age appropriate. Mr. Gilmore? Holy shit.
We're not done with golf. Let them see the happy I fell in love with.
Let's go.
We'll put a little extra into this one.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, I'll admit, it's fun having nostalgia, but am I having high expectations for this movie? Not really.
I don't think anyone is.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's expecting. No, it's just going to be a a fun little classic throwback. Hopefully, I saw the mover scene. I hope Will Sasso's involved with that.
Yeah,
That'd
Will
be
Sasso.
terrific. That'd be terrific. I need Lafferty Daniel to make an appearance. I need. Is Jackass guy still alive?
No, he passed away.
That's right, he did. That's
Yeah, Jackass.
Jackass. I don't know if the guy who played like the president of the tour is he still alive? Need him back.
Yeah, he. I think he was the director of the movie.
Hopefully, the homeless guy.
Oh yeah, that's Sandler's buddy.
Yeah, exactly. That dude. I forget what's his name. I always forget his name.
He was the lead of Grandma's Boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget his name, but like that's one of his buddies that he always puts in movies.
Yes.
I mean, Ben Stiller as the orderly coming back is all I need, really. There's going to be a lot of weird cameos. I saw like Bad Bunny's the caddy. John Daly's in there. I think Paige Spironic is in this movie. Yay. So yeah, I mean it'll be cool when it comes out. But do I have high expectations? No, I do not. And yeah, the tall guy, I'll see you in the parking lot. I believe he's dead. That was Jaws from James Bond.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while.
But that is maybe my favorite part of the whole damn movie is I'll see you in the. I believe that jacket belongs to Mr. Gilmore, and it's Shooter McGavin running, and he finally catches him, and just the scream, "No, no!"
It's all just so. God, see the thing about these newer movies is, yes, he died in 2014, so there you go. The thing about these newer movies, though, or these sequels, is they obviously are a lot more rich, and I think what really was the charm of those old comedies was just kind of how low budget they seemed at the time. And that's really what sold it for me with Happy Gilmore. With this one, it's probably going to be overdone. You know, there's probably going to be a lot of moments that aren't funny, that are really forced. But I'm going to repeat it again. Adam Sandler's just so like responsible for a huge chunk of my childhood, just in terms of movie watching, as just a kid who would just sit down and watch them all the time, specifically his. Ben Stiller, one of them too. Like I'll always have love for Sandler, but for Sandler. See, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call him by his last name, like those cool people.
Yes,
Sandler. He's a Sandman. God, meeting him would be like a dream. But anyway, I can't disrespect whatever he does. I'll watch it. Might not love it, but I'll enjoy it, I guess.
I love Sandler, but I could definitely disrespect some of the movie choices he's made because a lot of it is not great. But in my childhood, a lot of it was fantastic.
Sure.
I think you all need to know is that a lot of these sequels now are coming straight to streaming services, coming to America. Happy Gilmore 2, Beverly Hills Cop 5 or 4, whatever the fuck it was a year ago. So it's a nice thing to like have nostalgia and, you know, get people to, you know, join your streaming service. But it's just, kind of subpar movie making, honestly, in my opinion. Like, there's, but that's just like in general, like comedies aren't being released on the big screen anymore. So now you got to wait for stuff to come out on streaming, which sucks.
Yeah. No, agreed.
I was going to ask you real quick, not to make this like a big pop culture catch up thing, but have you ever seen this British movie called Sexy Beast, Steven?
No.
It's a gangster movie in like the early 2000s with Ben Kingsley and what's his name? Ray Winston, I believe, and Shay McKellen. Or no, who's the guy from Deadwood? I forget his name. I think it's close to that.
Ian McShane.
Ian McShane. Yes, thank you.
Lovejoy.
Ben Kingsley has an it's a weird, fun movie. But I watched it because I watched a clip of Bill Hader on Conan O'Brien, and he was asking him, "What, you watching any movies in particular right now?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm watching British gangster movies where you can't understand what the hell they're saying half the time." So he does like a whole thing about how like he's like it's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to this restaurant here. We're gonna have the calamari." He's like, "Oh, they're eating at the restaurant. Okay, cool. I'm into this. All right, then we're gonna ask a gal to do a job. All right, they're about to do a bank job, and then I was like, what the hell are you saying?" So that's basically it was a fun movie, but yeah, if I didn't have the subtitles on, wouldn't know what the hell was going on.
Snatch is kind of like that, right?
Yeah, I mean it was very Guy Ritchie. It was Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch. Yeah, very similar movies.
Yeah. Speaking of Stephen Graham, that guy is supposedly in he's in this new show. I actually think it's on like Disney
Hulu.
Plus.
Yeah, it's on Hulu because it's I want to say it's the same guy that made Peaky Blinders.
Yes, and it's called 1,000 Blows, and he got absolutely ripped for it. Stephen Graham's a man, dude. He's the man.
Yeah, dude. He's been in. Thought he was awesome in. God, what was the show back in the day? What was the show? Boardwalk Empire was an awesome show. He was in The Irishman.
Yeah,
I think he was in Peaky Blinders for a little bit of time.
Yes.
No, Stephen Graham's an awesome actor. He was. I think he was Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire. So
look at him, dude.
He got ripped for the kick because he plays a boxer, right?
Yeah, he's a beast.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. He's got this really thick Liverpudlian accent too. It's hilarious.
Nice. Mm-hmm. All right, Steven. Well, should we put a bow on this one?
I'll put a bow on it.
We'll put in a big old tasty bow. All right, everybody. We'll be back on Sunday, and hopefully, got to be honest, not a whole lot going on in sports right now, so we'll see what's going on. We'll react to it. We always have something to talk about.
Yeah, God, get people excited.
I know, but it's like tonight, like I was like, oh, we got Warriors, we got some Rodgers news, but besides that, not a whole lot going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But baseball's around the corner, so we'll definitely get into that a little bit more, and we're gonna do a fun show on next Tuesday. We're going to be doing a dual stream with a guy, Walter Icabalseta. We're going to do like a crossover episode where it's going to be just your pastime, man, or passion for your opinion, man, whatever you want to call it. And we'll be both on dual streams. You can watch on Walter's YouTube channel. You can watch on our YouTube channel. So, yeah, we'll do that next Tuesday at our usual time. Walter's nice enough to wait a little bit for me to get done with dirty work, so I think we'll do that at 7:15. But we'll be back at the usual time at 11 on Sunday. For everybody in the chat tonight, I think it was just the Ernies, Ernie 1 and Ernie 2. Yep, and AJ Cruz for a little bit of time. All right, everybody, we'll see you guys on Sunday. Steven, say what you always say.
It is just our opinion, man.